You grow hard about what you want to be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up.
Welcome to Tales from the Field. We are back and better than ever. My name is Bradley Ball, and it is so good to have you with us. On Tuesday, we had Nico Nurembauer from the SQL MI product group, and we had Anna Hoffman from the Azure SQL Data Platform group product group on to be able to help us kick off Ignite Week, talking about our favorite Ignite experiences. And we also told some tales from the field. I hosted Neeraj 1. Way to go, Neeraj. He is going to be our host next Tuesday. If you haven't seen that episode, though, don't go anywhere. Stay right there. The show is posted to YouTube after the live stream, and you can check it out at your convenience. And if you would like to interact with the show, right now we are streaming on Twitter under the accounts of Tales TF Field, Tales from the Field, SQL Balls, Neeraj Jafari, Josh Ludeman. We are also streaming on my LinkedIn account at SQL Balls. You can also go over to YouTube where we are streaming live, and you can comment on that stream. And one of my wonderful co-hosts will be looking at those streams to be able to see if what your message says pops up on our broadcast. Don't forget, this Saturday is SQL Saturday Memphis. Dustin Dorsey is there. Steve Hughes, Denisha Malone, John D. Richards, Pete Brown, Douglas Starnes, all of them will be there. Go to SQLSaturday.com and go attend Memphis. Such a beautiful city, wonderful folks that are going to be there. Before we go any further, though, let me introduce my co-host. I am joined by Andreas Padilla, Josh Ludeman, and the it factor, the intangible X factor, a conundrum wrapped in an enigma, hidden in a puzzle, stored in a secret vault under an ocean of mysteries, my friend and yours, Neeraj Jafari. As if it couldn't get any better than that, we are in the middle of Ignite Week. So much to do, so much to see. There's still time to be able to get consulting one-on-ones. Neeraj was telling me that he just had one booked not too long ago, about 5 minutes before we started the show. So even though the event is going on, you've still got your chance. Andreas, it's been a long week. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing good. I had a little mishap with my daughter and a broken hand, but everything's good. We're great. Family's good, and it's Ignite Week, but there's great things coming out of Ignite, so I'm excited.
Great things coming out of Ignite. I feel terrible for your daughter.
Yeah, but this is a phrase I've never heard before.
She's a ninja. She's a ninja.
This is a phrase I've never heard before. A little mishap and a broken hand. I feel like that is not a little mishap. I appreciate you kind of settling us, but my God, man.
So to be fair, I told Andreas, and perhaps a little too soon, I told him a couple stories of things that had happened to my boys as they were growing up. I said, please, don't feel bad about this. But I also said, the great thing is she's young. She won't remember. She's going to bounce back. But when she's older, you'll always be able to say, hey, don't make me break the other hand.
Yeah.
That's the reason.
Yourself.
Exactly. It's still a little too fresh. We need to wait about a year or two before we can pop that joke off. But eventually.
And change your vote to pizza. Ninjas are dangerous.
Yeah. Nobody gets a broken hand eating pizza.
Too soon.
It's never too soon to convert to the way of pizza. All right.
Never a good time for that shit, but continue.
Okay. So today is the community roundtable. It's just us, and we've got a lot of content to go through. So I'm just going to get to it if you want. First up, I have something from you, Josh. Let's see. Let me find the right screen for this. There we go. That's almost there. There we go. Let's take a look at this.
This is from a friend of ours, Aaron Bertrand. Aaron has a lot of great posts. He posts quite regularly over on SQLperformance.com. These were just some of his favorite posts on the blog over the last 10 years, something he posted earlier this summer. Also was around the time he got his 25th MVP award. He's a very long-standing MVP. A lot of great work around performance. Yeah.
Whoa, 25 MVP
Wow.
awards. I've known Aaron for a while. Aaron is just a fantastic person. One of my favorite folks in the community. Whenever we go out and we give presentations at conferences, Aaron is normally there delivering. That's a huge amount of dedication and time, and also recognition. That program is not easy to stay in, and they evaluate that yearly. So kudos, Aaron. Sorry, I'd love to go ahead and get back to the blog, but just
I mean, that was
out.
it. I just wanted to highlight this mainly for the Aaron factor. So really what you went into, Brad, is perfect, because I wanted to feature Aaron so that people know about him, know to look for his posts, especially around SQL Server performance. Dan has it right. Lots of posts about a lot of great stuff. But I wanted to make sure that, our viewers get a chance to see him, see his stuff out there, and know of him.
Well, and I love it that Dan said go Bruins, because hockey is a sport where I'll just enjoy watching it, but I don't necessarily have a favorite team. But I love how we meet people in the data community, and there are areas that we bond on, and I know him and Aaron have bonded on that. But I mean, looking at each of these best approaches for running totals updated from SQL Server 2012. Break large delete operations into chunks from 2013, readable secondaries on a budget for 2014, partitioning on a budget for 2015, a big deal SQL Server 2016 Service Pack 1, one way to get an index seek from a leading wildcard, which if you're using leading wildcards, you definitely want to understand how you can get an index seek there, what to do or not to do about top weights. Which I think is really key and important, because the first time you run a weight stat script, you get all this stuff back and you go, great, I know these numbers mean something, but what do they mean? And the fact that Aaron walks you through that is brilliant. Filtered indexes and forced parameterization. Please stop using this insert anti-pattern. Refreshing tables with less interruption. Less interruption using partition switching, and then more corruption. We have established that. I either want less corruption or I want to be part of it. I have received no checks in the mail. Regardless, I am open to bribes. We'll have to see how that works out next time I'm host. Serializing deletes from clustered index column stores. So many great things that Aaron's got in there. I absolutely love it. That's a lot of great content. Whew. Okay, so I'm up next, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go with Joey D'Anthony again. I'm going to go with the theme for the week, Microsoft Ignite. Joey has wonderful insights on the floor of Microsoft Ignite day one, looking at auto-scaling data IOPS for Azure MySQL and the auto-scale that we've got there. Postgres on Cosmos DB. One of the things that we've written up about being able to use that Postgres API. Introducing the Microsoft 365 app, Defender for DevOps and OSS vulnerabilities, managed environments for Power Platforms, intra-identity governance, and also he wraps up with some final thoughts. Joey is, again, just a great member of the community. He's been an MVP for a very long time, and so I would go and I would check this out, make sure that you understand some of the great things that we've come out with from Ignite this week and how those could impact you and your business and your architectures going forward. All right. So next up, I've got Neeraj.
Thanks, Brad. So same, continuing with Ignite flow. Just wanted to highlight the article by Joe. He's a writer at BizTech, and what to expect at the year event on 2022. I mean, Ignite, everybody wants to know what's going on, what are the new features, and BizTech has been covering this whole event from a long period of time. So something that every day you'll see some articles coming up here, day 1, day 2, day 3, as Brad was showing the other one. There are so many articles, what happened on day 1, what were the new releases in there. Something that helps the data community to understand what's coming up for them. So.
And I think that's really key, right? There's a lot of aggregators out there. A lot of information comes out of these conferences, and people can't help but go, what are the important things that we need to know about? And so it's really, really helpful that we do have people writing about these things within the community. Absolutely fantastic, Neeraj. Let's see. So next up, Andreas, I have you, and let me get this shared.
Oh, yeah. Beautiful. And for any, okay, so we're sort of keeping with the Ignite theme. I don't know if for those of you out in the audience, I heard, Satu was very was plugging a lot of AI. And if you look at the sessions out there, there's a ton of AI coming out right now, all session after session. So Microsoft's definitely very heavy AI this fall at Ignite. With that said, the reason I bring this article up is because AI goes hand in hand with devices. It goes hand in hand with NVIDIA. If you guys are ever working with like a device like that, that's a Jetson TX2. This article that I'm showcasing right now is by Emmanuel Bertrand. He's one of the a PM on the PG team for IoT. And this is a great article of how to use our Azure Machine Learning Studio, how that whole ecosystem ties in. And you can create a model and you can deploy it into an NVIDIA Jetson Nano or a Jetson TXT or pretty much any NVIDIA device. So he does a great job of like showcasing what you need to do, what you need to install, how that whole workflow works. Definitely jump in there. And I'm hoping to be able to make, at 2:00, there's an AI models with machine learning, with our machine learning, with Azure Machine Learning and NVIDIA at 2 p.m. So I'm excited about checking that session out.
2 p.m. at Microsoft Ignite, because again, the conference is going on right now. I mean, there are conference sessions being streamed. The agenda is out there. And as we said at the top of the show, it is still not too late to sign up. You just go and you enter if you are remote via email. I mean, obviously we can't get there in person at this point in time if you haven't signed up, but you can go and you can view this content remotely, which is absolutely amazing. And I love this. I love it when somebody takes GitHub and really puts in, the graphics, the step-by-step process for people to be able to do that. And on top of that, at the very beginning, we also had a video that I'm sure would be walking people through this process and talking about how they will actually see this in action so they can understand how to take it from concept to reality and marry those two things together. Absolutely beautiful, Andreas.
Well said, Brad. Well said, buddy.
Let's see. So next up, I have Josh Ludeman. Josh, what have we got here?
So the reason I brought this post, it's from our friend Rob Farley. Rob's out of Australia.
Another great MVP.
Agreed. The dangers of dynamic SQL and how to avoid them. So I brought this forward because it's a great post, written about, again, the dangers of, and I air quote, dangers of dynamic SQL and the rabbit holes that it can take you down. But I actually did this for another reason than just the technology focus of the blog. Obviously to feature Rob, but also TSQL Tuesday. And so I wanted to bring that up. This was a post as part of the Twitter, I will say, movement or initiative called TSQL Tuesday, where on a Tuesday each month, there's another blogger out in the community who comes up with a topic for that next TSQL Tuesday. And then other bloggers who follow the hashtag then write their own blogs aligned with that subject and then post it out. The last one was just done for October with Steve Jones, who brought up dynamic SQL as an overall topic for TSQL Tuesday. This was one of the many posts. And I was, when I was looking for something to feature this week, I came across TSQL Tuesday, realized it was it had just happened this past Tuesday. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to find a good blogger in here, that I'm familiar with to help, bring a good subject matter piece to, but also more attention to TSQL Tuesday as a thing itself.
Jennifer Jones loves your hat.
Thank you,
Jennifer. Points right there. I mean, we all love Josh's hats. They are fantastic. Thank you so much, Josh. You're absolutely right. I think I got so caught up in this being Ignite week, I forgot about it being TSQL Tuesday week. And I'm so glad that you stayed on top of this. We're going to have to go back and look at some more of those blogs, maybe pull them in next week. Again, every single month, a TSQL Tuesday occurs. And if you are looking at how can I get involved in the community, how can I just simply write a blog? You can go out to Blogger or any place like that, start a blog absolutely for free. And then when the post comes, you go and you write it, and then you go back to the comments section and you post it. And whoever owns the post for TSQL Tuesday typically does an aggregation, but you can find all those blog posts, and it's just a wonderful and very easy way to be able to participate. So absolutely fantastic. I love that. It's a great subject. And thank you, Mr. Steve Jones, for hosting the TSQL Tuesday. Let's see. Next up, I have, it's me. So let's see. Yeah, sorry. I am so surprised. Man, this has been a rough week. I got to tell you.
Brad's like,
I know who's up. I'm up. So this is Wolfgang Stressor again. Wolfgang, another MVP. Wolfgang is also in my my Twitter running group. There's a whole bunch of us, and we daily tweet out our activity and send messages of support to one another. Wolfgang is young and fit and much faster than I, but I still like him.
Oh, I'm the virtual spectator of all the Twitter running, and I hand out virtual waters and congrats and likes.
I appreciate that virtual water.
How do you do virtual runs?
No, a virtual spectator.
Virtual spectator. Yeah, but you can do virtual runs. We'll get back to that. So Wolfgang actually has a summary of the updates for the Azure Data Platform, which again I think is fantastic. Being data folk, one of the things I often look at is what's going on. What are we looking at? And I love it when we're able to get this. He's got some really great videos where he goes over some of the news, and he's got some links in there. We'll get to that link a little bit later, but great wrap up by Wolfgang. So let's see. Who do I have next? After me, of course, our host for Tuesday, Neeraj. Let's see. Let me go here. And I think this is the Ignite 2022 new feature and updates.
So this is from on msft.com blog. It's one of the Microsoft Center community. It's not affiliated with Microsoft, but they have been writing a lot of things on Microsoft. They cover Microsoft most of the events in there. The reason I brought up this blog was staying back to Ignite 2022. Power Platform was really big yesterday in Satya's announcement. There are a lot of things happening on the Power Platform side. And as Andrea said, AI is going to be a big this year. So this was something that definitely would interest most of the people out there. This particular community that they have a lot of people following it up. They even tweet back saying if something's not working, they put down saying this is not working out, and that's something that it's always useful to read up on it. So.
Well, in the PowerUp program, right? We recently actually had Luis Camino on from the PowerUp program. There's still time to go in and apply for that, so people should absolutely be doing that. aka.ms/PowerUp takes you to that landing page where people can sign up for the program, where we're looking at helping to mentor people who are looking to make career changes. So we're primarily looking for people outside of the IT field. And again, wonderful program that we've got going. Let's see, after Neeraj, we've got the real deal Holyfield down there himself, Mr. Andreas Padilla. So what is this? We have high performance real-time object detection on NVIDIA Jetson TX2.
Yeah, this builds on Emmanuel's post. Professor Lee Stott, he expands on that and shows us how you can get a little bit more fancy schmancy with the AI that you're deploying in there, using bounding boxes, making sure that you're using TensorFlow correctly, all these goodies. So if you look at Emmanuel's post, that GitHub repo, then go from there and come over to this blog. It'll help you out, especially when it comes to troubleshooting the NVIDIA device. You want to make sure that all the containers are working correctly, everything is installed correctly. So this will definitely help you out if you work with, an NVIDIA device like I'm doing right here. And then last thing I want to mention before, there's some, speaking of all the AI stuff that's coming out of Ignite, the responsible AI dashboard is a big hit because when you're developing these models, you got to make sure that, you know, they're fair, they're reliable, they're safe, they're transparent, you're accountable, because these models, you know, the models can you know, give predictions that are fair, you know, depending on where you live. Maybe you're trying to predict on a loan, predict on certain social aspects, or, you know, data, and that you have to make sure that you are fair when it comes to those predictions. So this responsible AI dashboard that just came out helps you scorecard your whole model development process.
Responsible AI is a big thing. I remember, you know, when I've done work with classified organizations or government agencies that perhaps have 3 letters in them, there are certain elements where they help do background checks for high-level clearances that are required. And one of the things that we did was we were looking at using AI to be able to help process things very quickly. And that very quickly led us to a responsible AI discussion, where we started talking about, hey, you have to keep in mind, if a model does something, we have to log every decision and why, because we need to understand this, because people, if they get denied something, they have to have a means of appeal, but also we need to make sure that there isn't some type of implicit bias in the model put there by the person who is developing it. Again, implicit, unintentional, but at the same time, when we get into deciding things for real people, we have to make sure that we're not somehow doing something that's very exclusionary in process for the sake of automation. And so that responsible AI and what Satya spoke about, it's really key and important as we move forward in a society with technology, to make sure that we've got the right things in place, the right safeguards, so that we are making sure that we develop these systems the way they should, and inherently they are responsible and they are good for people. Absolutely. I love that.
I love it the way you explained it, Brad. You're a poet, my friend.
And responsible AI, I mean, the 6 principles are very much defined in Microsoft side. If you go up to the dashboard, it gives you really what that 6 principles should be thought about before building an AI application or before releasing an AI application.
Excellent, excellent. All right, so up next, I've got Mr. Josh Ludeman again, and one of my favorite people on this planet, Mr. Thomas Larock. You've got a blog by him, Stop Using Production Data for Development.
Well, and for me, honestly, I've looked at a couple of his posts over the last few roundtables going, no, I'm not ready to throw the SQL rockstar out there yet. Needed a little bit more time. Finally, this week, I'm like, you know what? I was going back through some of his stuff and found this one from January. I really love it because I agree completely with him. Stop using production data for development. You know, and really it focuses on, you know, the why not from a security standpoint as well, but also using dummy data and the advantages it gives you of knowing the outcome without putting data in a risky, precarious position by using it in development.
One of the things I absolutely love, and Tom and I have had many discussions about this over the years, is Tom is someone I always felt like from the beginning just got and understood the need for data security. And we had conversations. I used to work for the Obama administration as the lead DBA, you know, back years ago. And in that level, if something went wrong, I was the person that would be brought before Congress to testify what occurred and why with the data. And that really began a journey that I had continued from when I was in the U.S. Army as a contractor dealing with data over there, where I knew how secure we had to be with that data. There was an incident that occurred, not with me or with where I was, but someone from one of the government agencies for the VA had a database on a production database, but it was a dev refresh and every developer had them on their laptops. Someone broke into their house, stole their laptop. And because of that, they had to send notices out to every current and retired person that was able to get VA benefits. So if you think of that for a second, when you get to retired, you're talking about congressmen, senators, you know, potentially depending on who's in the Oval Office, if they've served, potentially them. I mean, so you're talking, these letters had to go out, big and small, to everybody, over 24 million people. And I remember when that occurred, it was standard operating policy for us to have that production database on our laptops. I stopped right then. I disconnected everything. I made sure that my laptop was little more than a dummy terminal to be able to hook up and go there. But when I was working for the White House, that was doubly impressed upon me. And Tom and I have talked about this, and he is just somebody who really gets it, because when it comes to security, and it's great, when we were doing our data grunkle, man, I set off a firestorm by saying that you should change ports in SQL Server. I still believe that, though. Every checkbox that you can do, if you ever have to get dragged before Congress and testify, you don't want to say, well, I didn't do this because I thought it was stupid. You want to go, we did absolutely everything. And this is one of those big things, making sure that you obfuscate or that you mask, and you're not actually using production data, especially personally identifiable data, in your development environment. Really, really great stuff.
Question: What do you do in the stage environment? If it's a controlled stage environment, can you put it?
What do you mean by a controlled state environment?
So like dev environments are not controlled, but when it comes to a stage environment, you can control it up with all the securities and everything in there. Do customers put data into the stage environment for testing, just to make sure that in production you're not going to see that? Or
for controlled state, my understanding, it depends. I mean, but I've seen a little bit of both in controlled state environments. But in Tom's perspective here, and I agree with it completely, in dev, you don't know where that data is going to be. It depends on where the developer is developing. Are they developing on their machine? Are they developing in the cloud? You don't know. And releasing production level data into your dev environment, you're just, again, it's not complete, security. It's not going to stop everything, but it's going to stop the easy stuff. And, what I've referred to, and I think y'all have heard me in meetings use this term, the low-hanging fruit, right? That's a low-hanging fruit. You in a dev environment, just don't put the risk out there. But in the state environments, I've seen it both ways. I've seen UAT environments where it's like it's a snapshot, right, of some of the production data. I've seen it's a snapshot of dummy data, so that they can always understand completely the outcome. I've seen tiered environments where they try, after dev, it goes to that snapshotted environment to validate calculations, then a second stage UAT, which is a duplicate of production data-wise as well, to see how that comes out.
Part of the key is just how you lock it down, right? Because if you have, it's kind of like, my dad used to tell me this thing when I was a kid. If you're going to do it, pretend I'm standing behind you, listening or looking at you. Would you be proud that I heard you say that? Would you be proud that I saw you do that? And that's the kind of thing, right? If it makes the front page of the news, and we're assuming zero trust with Microsoft nowadays, right? If it makes the front page of the news, am I going to be proud of the efforts I did, or am I going to go, "Whew, I could have done more"? And if you go, "Whew, I could have done more," that is what we like to call on the DBA field a resume generating event right there.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm going to pick up the pace a little bit because I know we're getting close on time, but I next wanted to highlight Paloma Garcia Martin, who is part of our CSS escalation team. And she is writing about an issue that customers were having when they were setting up backup retention policies for Azure SQL for managed instance. And it was just saying loading, and it wasn't properly loading. And she walks through what you need to be able to do to be able to see these backup retention policies and how you can actually get them to function properly. But thank you so much for putting this blog together, Paloma. I know that whenever I have customers that face issues and I can blog about a problem that they've got, it makes me feel a lot better because I know someone out there is going to be able to use this when they hit the same issue.
And backup retention policies are always a common question across all customers. So having some more content, another opinion in that space is good to see. I love seeing that.
So Neeraj, you're up next. I've got you with DAX 101, introducing rank X in DAX.
Yep. So, I mean, I just wanted to bring up Marco Russo, who's like MVP 14 times from 2009. He's one of the good speakers at the
And
BAS
Alberto.
Summit and
Yeah.
Ignite Summit and all of them. So, just wanted to bring because of the theme up there. DEX, I mean, it's big in Power BI, right? I mean, you need to know DEX if you really want to do Power BI programming and all that stuff. But one of the things that he has described is ranking, right? Ranking is really bad. I mean, people don't understand the right way to do it, and then you end up having a bad visualization in that. So this is something that he wrote it really clear, and that's why I brought up this one.
Absolutely. I was going to say the SQL BI site is synonymous for anyone who's really working in or developing with Power BI, because they are just absolutely exceptional.
Yeah, if you're
in what
stuck
they
in
do.
Power BI development, you go to SQLBI.com and
Yep,
find what you need.
find everything in there.
Yep. Andreas, I've got you up next, and this was a link from Wolfgang's blog as well, but it's one we all shared earlier in the week. This is a great one. Go for it, sir.
Which one? Oh, beautiful.
Book of News.
The Book of News, you guys. This, I thought we were gonna miss this. I'm like, is Brian gonna put this on? This is a must know for all of you who are watching Ignite or at Ignite. This is what comes out in real time. You know, all the news, all the updates, all the goodies. You know, what's been developed, what's launched, what goes GA. This is your timeline. You know, and they're doing. And if you read through this, you can see that Microsoft's doing a ton of stuff with AI, cognitive services. They've made a lot of updates to language, cognitive services, computer vision, speech, new speech features that are coming out, and the list goes on and on of all the goodies that are coming out of Ignite right there. But yeah, this is follow this. They're constantly making updates to this. I just concentrated on the AI stuff. Any goodies in there in terms of data? You guys noticed?
There's a lot of great stuff, but I don't think we have time to get to all of it. But yeah, no, it's a great aggregator, and that's the thing. It comes from us, right? So everything that will get announced that you may be looking for, it's in there. I mean, so it's one of the best ways to be able to find this. Let's see. So next up, I have Josh,
and I'll be really quick with this one. Again, another blogger wanted to bring, and community member, I wanted to bring to the forefront. With Melissa Coates, SQL Chick on Twitter. It's a great, it's an updated and revised Power BI implementation planning guide. I know she's worked with members, of the Power BI CAT team, as she details there, with previous guidance. This is a revised plan, including checklists, scenarios, things like that. It's a great, beautiful blog post on Power BI and implementing it in your environment. I encourage everyone to check it out.
Absolutely. Okay, let's see. And then next up, I have Neeraj. Incremental refresh and hybrid tables in Power BI. Load changes only.
Yep. So I just want to bring up Reza. He's like the Microsoft regional director in New Zealand or Australia. The reason I brought this up because he also runs the Power BI Summit. Power BI Summit is one of the big conference out there and it's virtual, so you can definitely attend it up. All you need is a computer and internet, and you can attend it up. They do go over all these different types of Power BI problems in the summit, helping incremental refreshes, hybrid tables, all that stuff that are constantly coming in there. And that's the reason I brought this whole blog up. Power BI Summit is coming up next. They already have registration open for 2023 now, so you can definitely start registering out.
Wow, we're going to have to add that to our events so that way we start plugging that, because that's a big deal. I mean, look, what goes hand in hand with data, reporting off of data in Power BI.
Yep.
So let's see. I am up next, and I've got a specific blog by Neil Ball, great last name, introducing assessment tools for Oracle databases, migration to Azure SQL and Postgres. This is the preview of this. It was published this week. This is something that we announced at Ignite. And so if you're looking for this, we have support for this in Azure Data Studio. There's a video on this. We can get a score on the databases to be able to help us understand what the compatibility level is and some of the work that we might need to do. Great and fantastic tool. That's the last one, I believe. Well done. So let's see. Just a couple of reminders real quick. Tuesday, we've got our show coming. That'll be where we're playing for the host again. Neeraj, you're the host this week. Anything you want to say about that, or we're going to hold us in suspense?
Very interesting topic. I want to bring it up. It might definitely help you out. So definitely.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, no, it definitely will be an interesting topic. I guess we'll have to tune in on Tuesday to figure out what it's going to be. Sign up for SQL Saturdays is coming up. On Monday, Jess Schultz from the product group will be our special guest. She's going to be in studio with us. We'll have to see how that goes. That's going to be really interesting. Live 360. Josh and I are going to be presenting there. Don't forget aka.ms/live360. We've got a pre-con. We've got multiple sessions. My favorite conference of the year, and it is at the
beautiful Lowe's Royal Pacific store on the grounds of the wonderful Universal Studios Orlando.
Beautiful. Absolutely.
Beautiful.
I love it. Excellent. Well, hey,
every my eye every time.
Yeah, if they give you a lumpy bed, that's from me. Lumpy's bed's from me. So
that's I'll have my tinfoil hat on for that one. All right, guys, have a great weekend. See you Tuesday. Take care, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Wake up. Today's gonna be